This is the conscious experience.
That's some good stuff.
3, 2, 1. Hello. This is the Conscious Experience. My name is Teres. I am the humble host of this platform. And to all the new listeners and subscribers, this podcast encompasses lifestyle, finance, mental health. We're literally talking about everything from 5G to cryptocurrency, mental health, developing mental fortitude to get past, life adversity. And to all of my conscious viewers who have been following the podcast since the very beginning, thank you so very much. I know I could speak for the both of us, but it just means a lot for you guys to keep following us and, really giving us congratulatory, things, saying really good things about the podcast. And it really, I do it for you guys. I mean, just to be honest, just to have my heart on my sleeve, I do it for you guys. Brian, how do you feel about this, man?
I feel good. I mean, appreciate anybody, taking all the time to, listen to us and even view this. So definitely grateful.
Most definitely. And by the way, I'm sorry, I'm rude. This is my co-host right here, my right-hand man, B-Lap.
Drum roll, please.
Hey, do. So, again, man, thank you so much. Like I said, we do this for you guys. And the initiative that I have set for this podcast is to give you guys great content, conversations that hold substance. So, again, we'll be giving you that type of content. We have a very special guest in the building today. A very special guest. FAU grad student. He's an ACE certified personal trainer, and he has his own YouTube channel that's called The Roaring 20s. Mr.
Yes, sir.
Cazo Wilburn. What's up, my brother?
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man. We got to pour up real quick, too, man.
We have to, man. It's honestly, it's a pleasure to be here. I got to say, number one, the setup, incredible. And it's your birthday, bro.
Oh,
For this to all happen on the same day.
It's amazing. Today is very special. Like you said, it's my birthday, and this is like our debut on YouTube. I mean, so today is a big day. I wanted to end the day on a huge bang. So
As
why
we
not,
are.
man? Why not? Cheers.
Salute.
Hey, Brian.
To Brian, too.
Oh, cheers.
With the Modelo.
Let me explain real quick. You might be asking, why is your co-host on the screen? Well, Brian lives out in Texas, so ever since the beginning, we've been Skyping this whole thing. So we've been Skyping ever since episode 1. So this is how we roll, and this is how we get after
this is
it.
dope, man. Especially for you guys to be a part and still making it happen.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, we caught the wave. We caught the wave ahead.
So I have a question for you. Going off your YouTube channel name, The Roaring 20s, being that you're almost halfway through your 20s, what are some of the essential life lessons you've learned thus far?
Honestly, our we just try to connect to people. Most of our viewers, our listeners, we're all in the same age range. So we're just trying to tell people, we're all going through the same things. No one's better than one other person, And also, not only, we try to incorporate it with the 2020s as well.
Yeah.
So the way it worked out, it just happened to be, when we started, it was late 2019. And it just happened to be this year's 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to kind of carry it out into, 2021, 22, yada, yada, yada. But really just, trying to connect with people who are all going through the same things. We are both recent college graduates.
Yeah.
Which is not the easiest thing, so it's what it is, man. It's fun, though. It's fun. I like it.
Yeah. No, most definitely. I mean, college for me was difficult in the aspect of I wasn't doing what I wanted to particularly do.
Mm-hmm.
Me, for the people who know me, they know I compete in jiu-jitsu. That's my thing.
Right.
And obviously this podcast is something I'm taking very seriously and trying to build up. So these two things are like my life, ambitions. But school was not. And
Understandable.
I was just barely skating by. I mean, and that's just the God honest truth. I think what it came down to was like my interest in like the content. Like I just feel like I wasn't that intrigued, so it kind of reflected in like my just like in my study patterns. You know, I didn't do terrible, but I probably could have done a little bit better. But I think it was more of, you know, what I enjoyed in school as far as the academic perspective wasn't all, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's what we try to, you know, relate to people with too, because especially if you don't know exactly what you want to do, you know, you're doing a major and you're trying to kind of just crossing out the boxes, you know, checking the boxes, you know, going step by step, but you're not like, you know, passionate about it.
Gotcha.
And say, for example, with you love jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But say you're doing a major that relates nothing to that, you know, it's kind of hard to have that focus 100%.
Yeah.
And, you know, still excel in your classes and still graduate, you know, so shout out to the people who are actually making it happen.
Absolutely.
You know, that's an accomplishment.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, one thing I was able to pick up on during my college career was, okay, you know, this is something that, you know, something I don't particularly enjoy doing. Like, this is not one of my I guess like life goals is to pursue the career, which was exercise science. I graduated with an exercise science degree, but I realized, like, okay, after I graduate college, I'm gonna do everything that or whatever I pursue next is going to be my life passion. I'm not going to go ahead and listen to what other people want me to do, you know.
Right.
I'm gonna do what I want to do in life, and I feel like since I start living like that, my life has exponentially just become better. You know what I'm saying? I'm more happier in pursuing, you know.
Right.
And
that's how it should be too.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, going back to the first question, from a personal point of view, what are some life lessons you learned? Things that you could probably recommend to like someone who's like 18, 19, or like 20, 21. What would you kind of say to someone that's a little younger who is embarking on the college career, or even just, you know, graduated high school and kind of.
Are you saying related to the YouTube or just life in general?
Just life lesson.
I think as long as you find yourself, you know, I think, you know, 17, 18, going into college, a lot of people that age, they're like, you know, I got to follow this path, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, I was the same as you. I was exercise science, and I switched it after a year because it was terrible, bro. It was the worst grades I ever got in my life.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, and, you know, I'm thinking, you know, I grew up playing sports, you know, this is for me. You know, I told all my family, I'm going to college, I'm studying exercise science, you know, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
After 1 year, I was like, damn, like, this is not good at all.
It's over.
So then, for real. So then I ended up switching to criminal justice, kind of just taking a shot at it, you know, wanted to see if I like it, ended up loving it. But still, I wasn't, you know, 100% into it. Like, I want to be passionate about something if I'm going to be doing it.
Yeah.
So, you know, now I'm on my third course. I'm in grad school studying business, you know.
By the way, congratulations. That's
thank
huge.
you.
That's
I
huge.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, I'm all over the place, and I know I'm not the only one. I used to be a little down about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, why can't I find myself? Why can't I find what works for me? But, you know, everyone's going to get there. Yeah. Everyone has their own path, you know, so.
Yeah. And that's the exciting part about being in your 20s. You know, I think that you're so caught up in trying to figure out who you are as a person, you know, and, you know, you're going to bump your head a lot of times, and it can be discouraging. You know, I think a lot of people bump their heads, and they're afraid to live life. You know, they're not as ambitious or as risk taking, but I think that's just part of the road. I know there's
Exactly.
no proper roadmap for anybody. Everybody's life path is different, and you have to go through a certain amount of adversity to get to the end point. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Most definitely. And so that's one thing that I realized. What about you, B? As far as like your 20s, any takeaway lessons? We're almost halfway. This is crazy. And the reason why I'm asking is I just turned 24. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, one, I beat the statistics. You know what I'm saying? and that's it's huge. I was reflecting on that with my mom. Single parent household, huge, and it's, you know, we kind of had like this sentimental moment together, but we just kind of reflected on our lives and, you know, all the great value she instilled in me, and how I was able to take that and kind of form my own life and be a positive force on this earth, you know. So it's huge.
Respect that.
Yeah, most definitely.
For sure. For me, I feel like, you know, the 20s, everybody in the 20s is basically just like unrealized potential. You know what I mean? Because I mean, up until your 20s, you're learning about the world and not about yourself. So your 20s is kind of that part of your life where you can really learn about yourself. And so with that, I mean, pretty much just, I feel like it's really just about, you know, whatever Miss Frizzle said. You know, don't be afraid to make mistakes, and really just, you know, basically just follow your dreams, in a sense of just like starting from the end point of like what you want your life to look like, or, you know, what you want yourself to look like in the end, and then just constantly pursue that, because there's really no roadmap, but as long as you know where you want to be, you can find a way to get there. So
most definitely, wise words. And I feel like perception is everything.
Right.
I feel like the way you perceive your life is really going to form the outcome of what you come in contact with on a daily basis. And that's one thing that I realized I had to change my perception of things. I always keep a positive mindset.
Oh, you have to.
You know, life is a roller coaster, man. It's crazy. You know, you're not going to win constantly. If you was just straight winning throughout life would be boring. You know, it's part of the excitement, this roller coaster ride.
yeah, plus you wouldn't know what to do if things went wrong too.
Right.
Facts, yeah.
But I gotta agree with you. You said just, you know, I wish more people would be positive about things. Mm-hmm. You know, because when they carry that negativity, you know, like say how you're talking about someone going to the college, if you're already being negative about things, mm-hmm. you know, college is a journey. You know, there's more parts of life that, you know, we're gonna experience that might be harder than that, but I've never heard someone say it was easy. Mm-mm. You know, even if you're good at academics, you know, another part of it might be rough on you, you know.
Yeah.
So just stay positive, man.
Yeah. Well, there's so many working. I'm sorry, were you saying something?
Oh, yeah, I would say something real quick. Yeah, I mean, honestly, bro, that shit just felt like a season, bro. It just felt like say like a football season, bro. You really don't remember. You remember like parts of each game. You barely you're not going to remember all the scores. You're just going to remember the end result.
Most definitely. And I feel like there's so many working variables mm-hmm. Going on while you're developing in college. One, let's just take the whole fact that you're mentally developing. Like, you know, you're on your own. You have personal freedom. You're not under the thumb of your parents.
Right.
And you pretty much have, you know, you can pretty much form your own decisions, you know. So that's a huge thing right there. And then also I think the social aspect of college gets looked over as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's so many.
That's a stressor itself.
Right? Or should I join this group, or should I, you know, stay? It's insane, and you have so much being thrown at you, and at each given time, I see why people, a lot of people don't make it through. You know what I'm mm-hmm. saying? And just because, I want to say this too, for any listeners who listen, just because you don't make it through college doesn't mean that that's the end. You know, I'm a firm believer that if you're not using college, or if you're not in a, how can I say this, in a career where you need higher education, such as like a medical doctor, like an engineer, something along those lines, I don't think college is the most beneficial way to go about it either. I think it's the most traditional way, but I don't think it's the most effective way. I think if you can learn a skill, Brian knows a lot about that. I think if you learn a skill, or if you go to like a trade school mm-hmm. where you can develop your skill or whatever, you can go that route. I think the whole, you know, go to college, get your degree, that is like so old school. That's like our grandparents, you know, parents type generation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We see so many young people becoming millionaires just off of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Just
doing this right here.
Exactly. Hopefully that happens. Hey, by the way, Death Wish Coffee, please sponsor me. I'm shouting you guys out. I've been talking good stuff about you. This coffee is so amazing, man. Like I feel, like I said last episode, I feel like running up and down Mount Everest like 10 times. It's crazy. This coffee is the best. So sponsor us.
I might have to try that.
Yeah, it's fire. But yeah, man, I think there's so many options out here.
Right.
So many options that you can take part in. I think it goes back to, where's your ambition? Don't be afraid to live life. We're seeing what that is with our grandparents. They put 40 years in the workforce, and what do they have for it? Retirement. A lot of people are not even able to retire, and Brian will give you the logistics on all that, how retirement works, and how people getting cheated out of their retirement fund. But it's just it doesn't even make sense. What, I'm gonna give you 40 years of my life, 40 years of my life working for a corporation that just sees me as another number. They don't really care for me. It's so old school, and I think it's such a trivial way to live life. I think the internet provides so many different ways to, get you tapped into what you want to do. So
right.
Most definitely.
I gotta backtrack off that too, because I feel like, we're talking about people going into college specifically. I know me personally, I was very influenced by my parents, and it was always, I was kind of guided on this path, because my parents are military.
Gotcha.
So it's a little bit stricter.
Yeah.
They always wanted me to join the military, to do this, to do that, blah, blah, blah. Or, other kids.
I couldn't picture that, low-key.
Nah. And, other kids, it's like, go to college and do this, blah, blah, blah. Not everyone has to be a lawyer or a doctor if you don't want to, If you want to be a YouTube star, then be a YouTube star.
Most definitely.
If you want to, work in pharmacy or pharmaceuticals, do that. Do whatever, your heart desires, follow your path. But I feel like you were saying, it's kind of old school a little bit, especially if your family has an influence on you, because at 15, 16, 17 years old, a lot of people don't know what they want to do. So it's just like, okay, go to college and do what I told my parents I was going to do the past 18 years. And then that first year, you might be like, shit, I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's when people open up more and find themselves, so
Yeah.
it's a different world.
No, see, the real issue is most of us are programmed to think that that's the only way to, develop your success, or to gain yourself, to gain your success, is through taking that conventional route. And I think we're just seeing too often that a lot of people, they end up with a degree, they're in a lot of student loan debt, and they're working at a job that they don't really like, and they're getting paid like $17 an hour. You know what I'm saying? For 4 years of hard work,
which is going straight to your loans.
Exactly. Yeah. What? So, during that time, why not gamble on yourself? Why not take that, $25,000 you took out in loans and invest it in something, or so it's just something. But for me, that was an afterthought. It's too late for that now.
Same here.
You live and you learn, ladies and gentlemen. You live and you learn.
That's part of the path.
It most definitely is. And it's funny how everything comes full circle. It's just, you got to bump your heads a few times. Like, this is like the biggest thing for me in my 20s. I'm just realizing that, every decision I make could be life altering. You know what I'm saying? Both in a good or bad way.
Yeah, for better or worse.
Yeah,
for better or worse.
Exactly. If I become, if I develop bad habits, like if I become like an alcoholic, and then one day I drive when I'm drunk, and then I get a DUI, that's my head. I have a record.
Changes your whole
now.
life.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you stay disciplined and you put in work in something that you really like, develop your craft, develop a skill, then you could benefit for that for a long time in your 30s, 40s, and on for. So I think for me, one thing that I'm bringing out of the 20s is the the importance of making rational decisions, but also having fun. You gotta have fun too, man.
You gotta experience things.
Yeah, it has to.
Don't go crazy.
No,
but,
don't go.
get the experience.
And don't spend it all in one place.
Yeah, most definitely.
No, I know what you mean though. A lot of the choices we make now will, greatly affect our future. 23, 24. It's a good time, but a lot of things can change for better or for worse, like Brian said. And keep your mind sharp, keep the right mindset. God willing, it'll be better for us.
Yeah,
with the choices we make. Most
definitely. One thing I realized is, whenever you have that positive perspective on life, and you're working hard and you have laser focus on something, reality will bend its way to work in your favor. And that's something I learned through jiu-jitsu. Manifestation. And now it might sound crazy. Oh, what is he talking about? Manifestation. But I do think that if you change your mind on things and start actually believing in yourself, and that confidence come from knowing you're putting in work on a daily basis, then I think you can accomplish anything.
You're going to see the rewards.
Yeah. That's why I have the post up here. You got LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, and you got Michael Jordan. Those guys exemplify characters who have an assassin-like mentality and have this craving to win. So they're working the hardest out of anybody, out of anybody.
And that's why they have that confidence too, because they know the work they put in.
Absolutely.
They know who they are. It's not just because people saying I'm LeBron, Kobe, Jordan's like they know what it took to get there.
Yeah.
They're with themselves when they're in the gym and their mind's telling them are you gonna push or are you gonna do this. They know themselves better than anyone. And that's the reason they're there.
What's even scarier than Kobe and Michael Jordan is LeBron, because his genetics are off the chart. Like if I was an alien from a different universe and I visit this planet, I would say, okay, he owns everybody.
That's the president.
He's huge. I think he's like 6'6". He's over 240. He's just a unit, a straight truck. And on top of that, you're telling me he's working harder than anybody? Oh, you're not gonna beat me today. I'm training double time. Whoa, that's scary.
It's crazy to think about too.
That shows a lot of of his mentality, because I feel like a lot of people, that's like a lot of pressure. You feel me? Like there's a lot of tall people that are janitors. You feel me? Like there are a lot of tall people that didn't max out their potential, or max out what they could have been. So yeah, that's dope, because I feel like with certain people, it's easy. I feel like I'm not gonna say easy, but certain people they have the role of the underdog, so it's like a chip on their shoulder throughout their life. So it keeps pushing them. But for him, he's always kind of been the top dog. So for him to still have that work ethic, that says a lot.
Most definitely. John Jones is another character like that. Mm-hmm. Just elite genetics, an elite athlete, and those guys carry a certain mentality that's just off the charts. It's almost scary. Especially once you start to look amongst combat athletes, people who are trying to knock your head off for a living, submit you for a living. Those guys are literally, every time they fight in the cage, they could die. Yeah. That's the honest reality with mixed martial arts, and the fact that he holds that, and he's been a reigning champion for I believe 9+ years now. Just completely dominated everybody, crushed everybody. His first fight for the championship, when he fought against Shogun, he opened up with a flying knee. That's insane.
That cannot be me. I'm sorry.
The flying pressure straight out the gate. That's flying pressure straight out the gate, man.
He just has unbelievable confidence, and I think that when you pair up unbelievable confidence, when you pair up strong confidence, plus a hard work ethic, I think you're unstoppable in this world.
Yeah.
I think anything you put your mind to, you can pretty much do. You know?
Right. I think that goes back to, talking about Kobe too. What really made him different is, everyone says the Mamba mentality. And he just had so much going on in here in his mind. Nobody compared. I've never seen a smarter basketball player, even Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah.
No disrespect,
No,
but
yeah, no, I
I've
get
never
it,
seen that, maybe even all the sports.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone that smart, just applying everything they know to the game, and not just the game, in life in general.
Yeah.
Because he was an influencer as well.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people might have known that,
Yeah.
until he passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, if everyone kind of, reaches their potential and how do I say it? Just attack your goals and, just be smart about it,
Yeah. Yeah. I think a large part
Yeah, I want to add on to that because, he was definitely like the most calculated person, what I'm saying, that I've like seen as far as like Kobe. But then also, I feel like with the great ones, nobody could. I feel like with a lot of people, what separates people from being great and average is that the great ones never let a shadow of a doubt or anybody like stray them away from their dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like Kobe, you already knew from the beginning you want to be the greatest basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Same with like Kobe. Same with like probably even John Jones or like any prime competitor, prime business person, anybody that's at their peak. Like they never let anybody kill their dream. And I feel like with a lot of people, either at a young age, their dreams get killed, or it's not their dream at all. So they kind of have to be like micromanaged or like pushed into doing something.
Yeah, most definitely. I think what stood out to me as far as like Kobe's greatness is how cerebral he was on and off the court. You briefly brought up what he was doing off the court. On the court, it was obvious. It's just some athletes are so in the zone. They call it the flow. Like you're in a flow, like as if like you're in a instinctive state and everything just comes to you natural. You saw that at the highest level. The NBA is at the highest level. You have the most elite athletes on planet Earth trying to take the ball away from you and dunk on your head. You know what I'm saying? And this guy literally was just in a class of his own. You just saw it. He just knew what everybody was doing. Chris Paul is really good at that as well.
Right.
Like just a manager of the floor. And I think the best person at this, we keep harping on him, but LeBron. I mean, the passes that this guy
can't deny it.
He's like a quarter. He's legit. If he's the quarterback of that team, you know what I'm saying? It's just facilitating that offense. So it's pretty amazing to see people reach those peaks in life, because what it does is it opens the door for other individuals to see, okay, this is what hard work does,
right.
And this works in all facets of life. If you want to be like a craftsman, someone who like crafts like sofas or like crafts tables, like you can be the best at if you enjoy that, like you could be the best at, just put in the hours, put in the time.
Exactly. That's funny you say that, because I remember growing up, my family was always like, we don't want to see you flipping burgers at 30 years old. But if you're going to flip burgers...
All black families, by the way.
You better be the best burger flipper out there.
Yeah.
Put your all into it. Put your all into whatever you do. And like you were saying, I feel like their play also reflects on, how they are off the court. And it's crazy because some people might even not know anything about basketball, but they still know about Kobe or LeBron. And, that's how much of an influence they have. And it's not just numbers they're putting up on the court, it's what they're doing outside of that. LeBron building a school, Kobe working with the youth and working with neighborhoods, things like that. It really reflects on other people.
Yeah.
You can, use them as a role model if you need to, but it's good to see, putting your all into it.
Most definitely. Just to backtrack a little bit, I know that we talked about, you always having a pretty healthy perspective on things. Every time I've came in contact with you, you seem pretty happy. I've never seen you just negative or like, oh fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you been a very nice guy.
Likewise.
Yeah, thanks.
Brian too.
We're just three nice guys, I wanted to talk about mental health.
Okay.
And I know that you're healthy on a physical level, but just to backtrack a little bit, I talk about having three things in order. Physical state as being one of them. Your intelligence, the way your intellect state, and then also your spiritual state.
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, for me, those are the three main things I try to have in balance. And I notice when I have those things in balance, whenever I'm working out consistently, whenever I'm reading and sparking my mind with new information, and whenever I'm in tune, meditating, and making sure I'm doing the right things to, stay in a healthy spiritual state,
Mm-hmm.
I realize that my life is just so much more smoother and so much more better. Everything's just going, just on 100. What are some things you do as far as like precautions to make sure that your mind is where it needs to be?
It is really funny you say that, because I was thinking a little bit as you were talking, and I kind of have the same. I have days like
dancing.
that.
I don't play.
Dancing? Oh. Nah, sometimes I have a day, maybe, a chill little Tuesday. I'll work out. At the end of the day, I'll read a little bit. Maybe I'll eat healthy too. And nothing particularly special happened that day. But I'm just like, damn, I feel good, like, especially after I'm just reading, relaxing a little bit. I'm like, I didn't really do any negative today. I feel good.
Yeah.
And, it was just regular Tuesday. But, say I do that consistently throughout the week. I'm like, okay, that was a good week. I'm feeling good about myself,
Most definitely.
And, I agree, definitely physically, but more importantly, spiritually and intellectually and mentally as well. Like we were talking about before, if you're negative all the time, say, I think they all got to be in a line too, because say you're physically healthy, you go to the gym 5 days a week, whatever, but you're always negative, you're still probably going to be negative, even if you do work out or whatever, and vice versa. Say you read a lot, but you don't take care of your body or take care of your mind.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Having those things balance is so essential. It really is. It's almost like, having a car, gassing it up, but never changing your oil. Right. Or your engine's gonna blow up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make sure that you're covering all bases.
Right.
And that's something early off in my 20s I definitely wasn't doing. I'm just now figuring it out, and I'm far from perfect. I'm never gonna perfect it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm always gonna work on it, and I'm always gonna assess it. And I think early in my life, in adulthood, I was really focused on my physical state. You know what I'm saying? Just making sure that I stay fit. But I wasn't really paying attention to my spirituality, and I definitely was not paying attention to my intellectual, because I've always had a knack to be able to articulate pretty well. So there was no barriers there. And then just different things that when I did look up stuff and research, it was like interesting enough, but I never took the time to really go out my way and learn like different languages or like different cultures or history. Like I watched a whole documentary on World War II last week, and I learned just so many different things, and why world leaders such as Hitler exist, and why those guys are like dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So, but I never had that. I was never doing that, and it's like now I realize, like, since I'm starting to read this stuff, like, I'm so interested and intrigued, and like I said, man, it all goes towards my life changing in a positive way.
And that's good too, because you're starting young, and I feel like a lot of people are not really taught that, especially in middle school, high school, leading up to college, blah blah blah. you know, you were saying you really focus on your physical, but no one really tells you growing up to take care of your mental health, except maybe some of your family.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they tell you to read, but like, you know, it's kind of just read this, read that. You know, it's not really. Say you want to take your time out and, you know, watch a documentary or read about World War II.
Yeah.
You know, no one really tells you to do that. That's things you choose to do. And like you said, when you align it all, and you know you're getting better at it, you're getting older too. I think it you know, everything comes full circle, like you were saying before. You know, it kind of completes yourself.
Yeah. If you have something bothering you inside your head, you have to be 100% objective about everything. You have to do a personal assessment. You have to look at your life with the objective point of view, and you have to assess. You have to say, okay, you know, why is this bothering me? And once you break it down to a simplistic point of view, you can kind of see what your missteps are,
right?
You know, and you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to correct those things, man. You really do. I think mental health kind of gets looked over, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
People will post on it when something happens, you know, and they do like
but
the
it's
social
usually
media
after the fact too.
Exactly. And I think that this has to be an open dialogue, and I think people have to feel comfortable about expressing, you know, different things about them, about, you know, how they feel. You know what I'm saying? And so, I've definitely had dips in my life. I definitely did. I'll tell the story.
Dips?
Well, my first dip was when I was 18. I was in high school. So let me backtrack a little bit. Throughout high school, I lived in Michigan, and I played running back. Really good athlete. And you know, I had the potential to go to a couple places. I had a couple colleges scouting me. I think if you look at my 24/7, it still might be up online, but Missouri was scouting me, Iowa, whatever. I had colleges, Division I colleges scouting me, and this was like my dream, like most kids, you know what I'm saying? I want to make it to the NFL. Like that was just my main. No one could tell me anything different. And so, you know, I put all effort in becoming the best football athlete I could possibly be. And, you know, I moved to South Florida. My mom moved. She developed lupus. And so I moved down with her just to support her. She wanted to move closer to family. So
that was your senior year, you said?
It was my senior year, going into my senior year. So, you know, mind you, I've developed a rapport with this team. You know, it's my senior year of high school. You know, these are my boys. These are like my childhood friends, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm changing locations, completely different atmosphere. So we moved to Tampa, Florida, and I go to this high school. Complete nightmare, by the way, but we'll get into that.
What high school did you go to, by the way?
Wharton High School.
Okay.
Wharton High School.
Okay.
If you drive by it, it looks like a jail. It legit looks like a jail facility. But that's another conversation for a different day. But so I going into the third week of the season during practice, right? This is the biggest point in my football career. You know, this is the biggest point in my life. You know, every game is a make or break, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you're being scouted, you know, when you got coaches coming out to your games, they're looking at you on a game basis. So, you know, the maybe 2 practices out before the third week football game, I was running the ball. It was like a pitch play, I believe, and I got the quarterback pitched me the ball, and I was running downfield, and 2 guys hit me on opposite sides of my knee. So I tore my ACL, LCL, and meniscus.
Jeez.
And so when that happened, everything went downhill. It was just like it was really the first time I faced adversity. And so, you know, I spent 2 weeks, you know, just at home. I was out of school, of course. You know, I had to get ready for surgery. And that was like the first time I was going through short-term depression. You know what I'm saying? And it was a real dark point in my life because I lost like what I felt was like my life ambition at the time.
Right.
You know,
and that's
my
all
life
you
purpose.
wanted too.
Exactly. And then I had to do a personal assessment and pick up the pieces and kind of find myself. And when I picked up the pieces at that time, I wanted to be a firefighter, and just that whole I had to create something in my mind just to get my mind back right. But it was what stood out to me in that situation was me being able to come back from such a dark place. You know what I'm saying? And we all go to dark places in our life. Everybody has those dark spots, and it's how you come back is like that. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never knew this about you.
Yeah.
And I kind of have the same story a little bit. You know, I grew up playing football as well.
The girls who are listening to this podcast are like, "What the fuck?"
I know.
I thought this was the country's.
I don't know how I got to this point. But
No.
I grew up playing receiver, and I had the same view. You're like, I want to go to the NFL, go to college, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And my senior year, same thing. I tore my knee halfway through the season, and I ended up only having like some D3 offers because of that. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I thought I was going to go D1, thinking about the NFL already, blah, blah, blah. And then, I just applied to FAU just because, and I got accepted. And I don't even know what took me down here. I had never lived in South Florida, but I just happened to come down here, ended up loving it. And that's why I kind of feel everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of in that dark space too. I was like, what am I gonna do? I want to play football. Why can't I play football anymore? And now I got to go to this college I know nothing about. Go to this area I know nothing about.
Yeah.
And I feel like it kind of developed me. I kind of had to come out of that place and adapt to a new situation, adapt to a new lifestyle. And I think about it sometimes, but a big part of me doesn't even really look back at it because I feel like I'm supposed to be where I am right now. This football wasn't my calling. I can't argue with it. Yeah. That happened.
Yeah. Yeah. No, most definitely. B-Lab, anything on that?
Damn, I guess should I add my story in there?
Most definitely.
We here.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same thing. I played college football for 2 years at FAMU, but leading up to that point, in high school, I'll say so oddly enough, right? So I did play at FAM, but the crazy thing about that was that I didn't finish a football season until my senior year due to injuries. So like sophomore year, I broke my right wrist. I think that like midway through the season, and then my junior year, I broke my left wrist, and then going into my senior season, like I think the practice before our spring game, I ended up like breaking and dislocating my thumb, but I didn't know it, so I still played. But then after that, I was basically just like in a cast like pretty much all summer for like going to camps and stuff, and like. Every time after that, like, you already know how it goes, like, just being injured. It's just like, damn, like, you got to, sit on the sideline. People asking, like, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, like, pretty discouraging.
Yeah. It's not obvious.
What happened?
Just, like, but I feel like through that, it just, all those really just lessons on how to just, like, shake back because, it's really, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? That's part of the game. You know what I mean? It's injuries. And it's just like how you build yourself back up to be bigger and better. And so like when I broke my thumb going into my senior year, basically I was like, damn, this shit might be, I wouldn't say over, but it was just like, I'm not going to go, I couldn't really go to a camp. You feel me? Like, even though like I might have been invited to camps, things like that. Like, what good would I be just to show up in the cast and just be like, I'm here, you feel me? And so, so I basically just like, I almost was just like, fuck it. I was like, nah, like, I'm not gonna go. This and that. I was like, declining them or whatever. And then going into my senior year, we got a new coach as well. And it basically turned like the program around. So I had like a really good year. My senior year, I had like good film as well, and like I was already getting. The reason why I basically ended up coming to FAU like later down the road was because I was getting scouted by them, and one of my teammates, Cam Solomon, like he was a year ahead of me, and he got recruited to play for FAU as well. So I was like, oh, okay, bet. And so after the season, I think it was like I signed like 2 days after signing day to FAM, and it was like on a partial scholarship. Like they kind of found out of me kind of like late in the game, but it was just like bet. But even up until that point, like honestly myself, like if I were to say I saw myself going to the league, like I didn't really see myself going to the league until like maybe junior, senior year of my high school year. But like my whole thing was like, even if I did go, it was really just to get the bag. It was really just to like, because I was still really into like academics. You feel me? So like, I was like, bet. Well, if I do, I'm just gonna use the money to do this or that. You feel me? And so I feel like down the road, when I did go to college, it was kind of like that was just like, okay, bet. Like I'm here. You feel me? Like it was kind of like if my end goal projection was to be like the best in the league, I feel like I would have went farther. But like low key in my head, it was kind of just like, okay, like get to college and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah.
And so once like adversity hit in college, it was just like even more. It was like I almost want to say harder, just because in high school it's a completely different environment. Like it's nurturing. You feel me? Like you kind of already have your spot. You feel me? Like you already have build rapport with like this, like your coaches, everything like that, and like there's really no. It's not like cutthroat at all. You know what I'm saying? But like in college, it's more so of like a business. So like, and it also is just like very tiring, just like getting injured, coming back, and just going through the whole roller coaster. You know what I mean? Especially like having to do with like college classes as well. So, damn, I don't know where I'm going with this, honestly. Yeah.
It goes.
I think that I answered. Did I answer?
Yeah.
I don't know if that.
No.
Yeah.
It goes to show you that life is like you know how the forest like has like the deforestation process where the fire starts, burns all the trees, and then everything is just like burnt material. Then there's new growth that comes up, and then the forest becomes plentiful again.
Right.
That's how life is. And depending on your life path, you can have a situation like that where it happens one time, or you can have that happening multiple times amongst your life. But it's all about how do you come back? Again, it goes back to that.
Right.
How do you come back? Are you coming back stronger, or are you just faltering and wither away with every situation that you have to face?
I think that goes back to what we were saying before too. If your mental is not up to par, it's hard to come back from that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're positive, you got a good head on your shoulders, then it might not be easy.
Yeah.
But you could deal with it.
Yeah.
Even if it happens again and again.
Yeah.
So.
Most definitely. This is like my last question I wanted to ask you. Do you have like any passionate projects you're working on right now?
To be honest, you got me thinking, because I've always, well, not always, this has been the past few years, I've really gotten into entertainment. I like to act. That's a hobby of mine.
Really? Awesome,
yeah,
man.
so that was a big reason I started the YouTube, because I wanted to get, more of a camera presence. It's funny too, I always hated my voice. So we started it as a podcast. I was like, I'm gonna get used to my voice. I'm gonna do this, I'm nurturing it. And even coming here today, seeing your setup, I'm like, man, I really wanna, whether it's a podcast or YouTube or TV/film, I'm just trying to, I kind of realize that's the field I want to be in, so I'm trying to expand on it a little more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's really crazy how life kind of changes, because, we're talking about football. I was exercise science, I was this, I was that, and you know, I feel like I'm just now kind of figuring out what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I could definitely resonate with that. Podcasting is nerve-wracking. Like
It is.
I'm nervous as heck. I mean, I might not show it or whatever, but I'm shaking right now.
You don't show it at all.
Well, the thing is, like, it's so weird because, like, you know, I'm able to, you know, fight in these jiu-jitsu tournaments in front of people and not feel a thing. Like, I'm excited, you know what I'm saying? But for some reason, when I have to express myself and articulate my ideas, I feel like everything is on the line, you know what I'm saying? and I think part of it is, like, you know, trying to be a perfectionist in a field like this, and trying to express myself as best as I can, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, you know, your words can get mixed up, you know, you say something, it comes off a different way than what you intended.
You know
and
how
like,
people are.
You know? But it's just, you know, I think at the end of the day, you know, everybody comes in their own thing, and it's good to hear that, you know, you're on the right path. You know, you're someone you're someone that, you know, I met, and I was like, man, this guy, you know, he has a really great personality, and it seems like this guy, you know, really knows what he wants to do, and he's gonna complete that objective. And I've always just been high on you, you know, and whenever someone brought up your name, I've always said good things. People have always said good things about you.
I really do appreciate that, because that's my first time hearing that. It's not as easy as it seems, you know. I don't know what kind of viewpoints you guys have about me or whatever, but you know I feel the same about you every time. You know, it was mostly in the gym. I'll see you in the gym.
Yeah.
But every time, you know, you're the same way. You're just smiling as soon as I see you. I was like, that's a good dude right there.
Hey, we all three of us just some smiling ass niggas. Like we just some smiling ass niggas, man.
Well, man, I know we're reaching up on an hour on this, man, and I think we hit all the points that needed to be hit. You have anything else to say? Hey, put out your Instagram handle. Let the people know where to follow you.
We dropping the gram on there.
Plug yourself in.
We dropping the gram on there. It's Caz_0 CAZ_0. Nice and simple for you.
Awesome. And then the YouTube channel, right?
The YouTube is the Roaring 20s. It's the RRNGS 20s. Like 20S.
Got you.
Just so it's not confused, because there's a few pages out there with the same name. So
yeah, most definitely. That's awesome, man. You guys check that out, and for the conscious experience, this is what we talk about for the most part. I mean, we go deep, and you know, we try to break and simplify and explain things. Brian is my co-host, man. He really has a real sharp mind in general, but specifically when it comes to like finance and like, you know, certain technologies and just really understanding the global economy, what things to invest in, you know what I'm saying? I'm hyping my boy up, you know what I'm saying? And then me, I don't know what I'm good at, but you know, I'm just gonna keep I'm just gonna keep developing my craft. But this is pretty much the podcast, man, and my goal in the initiative again is to have interesting guests, and where we can, you know, create content that has substance and things that, you know, listeners can learn, and things that, you know, I want to learn too. I want to bring in interesting people. So this is basically the conscious experience. So bam, good job, my guy.
Shit crazy, I can't hear shit now.
I know, right?